Space Billies with a World of Sea Battles tips, tricks, and guides for you. Alright, so guys, to start off with today, I'm going to be trying to help like new players because I've learned there's not a whole lot of information, and the information that there um, is mainly for other languages, etc. So today I'm going to help you out. Alright, so to start off, you'll start over here at this general area, and uh, if you see one of these lines, that means it's shallow waters. That means that not every ship can go in the area. And if you look, there's a number around, and that tells you what rate ships can be in those waters. So these two are rate 6, so that means rate 6s and rate 7s. This is a rate 5, so rate 5, 6, and 7s. Numbers go up, not down in this game. If you try to go into it with another ship, it'll pretty much just make you stop. Alright? Different ports can build different size of ships. So, Los Catawana is a rate 6 port, but it can build rate 5 ships. So you could come here and build the ship, but you are not going to be able to sell it out of here because it is a bigger ship than the rated waters will allow you. Another tip that you can do is when you're going to build a ship, so let's go right here to shipyard. Let's say I am going to build the Sansperia. If you look here, it is a Spanish ship. And it tells me all this stuff. Well, if I go to a Spanish port, which is anything with the yellow and the red stripe, if I go to one of these ports to build it, as long as it can handle the ship rate, then I get a 10% discount on those resources. So this is what it would normally cost. So actually, right here, I'm actually in a Spanish port. So as you can see, it's actually a 20% discount. So if I was to go, let's say, to Nordberg or Saraca or Severo, stuff like that, it would actually cost me 20% more to build this ship. So when you're building your ships, pay attention to what faction it's part of. And if you can transport your materials over there, it'll save you a lot of materials in the long run. Okay, so next thing on the list here is going to be treasure maps. There's a couple different types of treasure maps. There's merchant supplies, there's pirate treasures, and there's fanatic camp. Left numbers, how many you have. Right numbers, how many it takes to open up one of these. Whenever you open up one of them, it'll pop up a little, like a yellow X somewhere on the map, and what that does is you can go there, and it's going to allow you to retrieve some good treasure. A tip for this, if you're in the corners of the map, whenever you open those, it will keep you from having to go in a circle. But if you're like over here at Macedor and you open it, there's a potential that it could be in the circle, and that is in a PvP zone, which means you're more likely to be sunk. But if you open it while you're down here, it could be somewhere in this general area, and you can just do it in peace flags and be safe. Alright, and then there's also pirate tokens. So if you go to a pirate port, such as Grey Island, Nevis, Thermopylae, and you look around, there'll be a little ship sitting in the water about right here. And that ship does pirate token trades. You trade those pirate tokens for cannons, etc. So if I go over to my workshop, these heavy mortars, they are the only way you can get those is through pirate trades or buying them on the auction from somebody. Any of these middle column cannons are all pirate cannons. So you either got to buy them from the shop, or you, with the pirate tokens, or you got to buy them in the pretty much the market. But there is a potential to get them on drops. Okay. Alright, so the next thing we're going to talk about is boarding. So I want to sail out to sea. And when you're boarding, there's a couple things to remember. For one, you need to have the ship that you're going to board down to half health or less. So another thing to remember is in the bottom left, so right here, it tells you how many people crew you have. When you're looking at the ship up here, it tells you how many crew it has. You want to try to make sure that you have more crew than they do. Oh. So I'm probably going to sink because I didn't think this through. I'm in the wrong flags. Give me just a second here. Let's see if we can get over here safely out of the way. Change flags. That's an important thing to remember. Okay, so while I'm doing that, if you notice when I just pulled back into the circle, it says combat stance. What that means is you cannot dock for 25 seconds after attacking or being attacked. So you need to wait to let that go down. So if this ship shoots me again, it'll bump me back up to 25 again. So hopefully he don't shoot me. I don't think he's going to. It looks like he's going to sink. That's good for us. All right, so let's hop in here real quick. Put this peace flags. So I'm in a guild, so it shows faction flags. But if you're solo, it'll show that you're in black flags. But it's the same thing. The only difference is for port battles, etc. All right, let's try this again. All right, so as you see, this ship's still here. It's below half health. I just gotta watch though, because if I crash into it, it's gonna sink. So what you do is you're gonna sail over to it, and then you're gonna turn sideways like you're gonna broadside it, but you gotta be close. The blue are the MPSs, so it's a lot easier to board them. So you hit spacebar to board. Alright, so it's going to auto select. You want to defend your your soft targets. When you the yellow bars shows what you're attacking, and the yellow bars on your side shows what they're attacking. Hey, Pink Kush, yes I am. I'm EU1. Yeah, I'm in E1. Tush. So in North America, the Spanish only own 2 islands. Yeah, they own pretty much everything in this one. But what it was is they had a lot of the major guilds in Kai. A lot of major guilds in Kai kicked out all the smaller guilds in Kai. And then they abandoned Kai and joined Spanish, so it completely obliterated Kai. So this season, Kai hasn't really had any ships. Alright, so back onto the boarding. The one ship sunk before I could really show it. So I've got the ship caught on fire. Hopefully I can pull up beside him and board him before he... Alright, so like I said, if you hold control, it's going to pull up your mouse. And you're going to want to watch and see which crew that is being attacked of yours, and then mark that for protection. And then you can take prisoners, rob and set on fire, or capture the ship. If I capture the ship, it makes it my ship. So now you see that if I look at it, it says it's Pro Voyager, but it says Space Billy on it now. Yeah, Pink. I went with EU because of the player count. For instance, right now we've got 2,600 players on. Yesterday there was 3,500 players on, whereas the North Americans is typically like 500. Like, it's definitely a lot more populated on EU1. That's why I went this way. Um, but as you can see, that ship is there, and then right here it shows that I had that ship. So then I can pull back over here into port. And there's a perk that I have. I'll show you here in just a second. So let's pull into port here. And skills crafting. Dismantling capture ships yield 33% more wood fabric plus a few beams. So now what I can do is click on this ship, and I want to go to hold first. Oh, it's got a merchant supply map. And I'm going to hit this to get rid of all the normal supplies, and then I'm going to take all the ammo off of it. Alright, once I take all the ammo off, then I can click it, and then click dismantle. And it's going to give me 3 beams, 315 wood, 56 wreckage, 140 fabric, and 8 resin. Just for capturing the ship. So, early on, if you're struggling to get beams and stuff, getting the resources, this is a good perk to have. Definitely helps. This ship was a small ship, so I'm only getting like 3 beams. But that's 3 beams more than I would have had, and this perk's a little bit easier to use, or it's a little bit easier to go capture a couple ships by that strategy than it is to actually sell out or craft the resources. Because if I go into my workshop here and go to crafting, it would take 100 wood, 5 iron, and 5 of my crafting time per beam. So that would have been 15 crafting time, 15 metal, and 300 wood. Well, that saved my crafting time, and the crafting time is going to be your bottleneck. Okay, let's see here. Another thing that we've got is going to be scrolls. Scrolls are very handy. There's 2 things that you're going to use scrolls for. One, let's say I'm over here at Curse City. Let's say I've got a bunch of materials. I've actually got 39 tons. Let's say like I've got those beams, I've got the scudos and stuff like that. Let's say I want to transport them over here to my island next to St. Jean. I'm going to be heavy, and if a pirate, an NPS, any one of those could sink me, and then I'm going to lose a percentage of my stuff. So like right now, if I was to move everything over, I wouldn't be able to move with this ship, but I would lose 21% of my cargo. That wouldn't be too good. So what I can do with those scrolls is go to store, go to subs, and then right here, hold insurance is 40 scrolls. For 1 hour, your hold will be hidden and won't be lost on sinking or boarding. So what that means is I can buy that. I can load my ship down, and I can sell anywhere for 1 hour, and whatever I have on my ship, I do not lose. So definitely handy when you're trying to transport materials to build a ship at a certain port, etc. Alright, so ship fires. If you notice when I shot, or whenever I hit that ship, I was using flaming shot or heated shot. And I was catching small little fires all over the ship. That's going to take it down, but those fires do go out. Now, if you see a fire that's going up the sails, that's a critical. If you see that you can stop shooting for the most part. That ship is going to burn down. If you're in combat and your sails are caught on fire, stop what you're doing and hit R to repair it. If you do not repair it, your ship will burn down, and it burns down quick. So don't worry about shooting them. You need to get that fire put out before you lose your ship, because you're at the losing side at that point. All right. So then And to go into those scrolls is also is you hit modes and then you select the mode that you want to do. Whenever you do a mode at the beginning, it'll be beginner difficult, and then once you complete it, then you can do epic. This is a good way to get battle marks, voodoo skulls, and gold, and cannons, and some special crew. In the top left corner, it'll tell you how many players you need to do the mode. So like I can do these two because of this ship. If I was to go to a higher rate ship, like a rate 6, 5, something like that, then I would be able to do these, and they would actually tell me. And they also tell you right here the average ammo consumption is 1,500 rounds, 6,300 rounds. So that is needed. It tells you how many scrolls you're going to need. And if I'm not mistaken, I thought they told you what ship level or what rate ship you needed. Oh yeah, if you hover over here. So rate 5 to 7 to do that one, rate 4 to 6, 3 to 5, and 1 to 3. So that's how you, and then the number on the left is how many people can do, or you need to do that mode. Alright, so let's see here. Cannon ships. So if you look on the map, there's an Imperial Legend. So this symbol, real quick, this symbol right here is an Imperial Legend. It's already being attacked, so we're not even going to try to go to it because it'll probably be sunk. They have really good resources, but they are strong. Depending on what ship it is, they can be multiple of them. But a trick to them is you want to get behind them and shoot them in the back half of the ship. Every time you shoot them in the back half of the ship, they're going to drop a loot box. That loot box is going to typically give you about 300 gold and some other resources, whether it be copper or something like that. And it's nothing to get 10, 12 boxes for them to drop while you're sinking them. And then once they're sunk, you're going to get even more resources out of them. So that's a big bonus. While I'm at it, these little symbols right here is black flags. That means that they have recently killed another player. And if you hover over them, it'll tell you what faction they're from. These two are from Espanola. Up here, these guys are pirates. So, it's handy to know, especially if you're selling under decoys or if you're selling under faction or black flags. Let's see here. Oh, cannon ships. Currently, I'm not seeing any on the map, so give me just a second here. We are going to sail towards this one. First, undo. First, we're going to get some wood, put it on the ship. And we're going to exit the lighthouse. And we're going to go. So the yellow line is the direction your ship's facing. The red line is the direction you're going. What I did there is a right click, puts an X on the map, and that tells you, or so that gives you a direction that you need to head. Another handy thing to remember is fish ship will go. So I'm sailing directly into the wind, so I'm going very slow. So you never want to sail directly into the wind. If you have to go directly, you want to zigzag. You want to go 45 left, 45 right, backwards and forwards until you get to your destination. See, that ship is gone. But that's fine. Alright, so this symbol right here means forts. So we'll sail down here towards it. So, if you're needing supplies to build your ships, forts are a good way to do it. And if you want to do forts, you need to be in a siege ship. So focus early, get your siege ships going, and get some friends to help you. Or if you see it flashing anytime you see one of these icons flashing, whether it be a transport ship, a fort, etc. If it's flashing, that means that somebody's already attacking it. That means you're more likely to take it down without sinking. If your tactics suck, you still are going to sink, but you're going to have some help, and that's always a bonus. While I'm sailing there, if you notice this ship has a flag sticking out, do not loot those unless you want to be aggroed by the NPS ships. If you see a flag sticking out, and you pick it up, that means like if I was to pick that up, that black fang would attack me. So keep that in mind whenever you're selling around. See, like that one has another red flag. So if you see a flag and you're not wanting to fight, avoid it. So like this one, it's just floating supplies. It does not have a flag, so we can pick it up with no problem. Alright, that symbol there is fish. If you're looking through the scope, it shows one fish. That means it's got like not a whole lot of fish. So the number of little fish symbol, like there's got two, there's got two. The number of fish symbol is how many fish you're going to catch in that fishing hole. So there's the fort. It's got 67,000 health. Let's look at it through the. And if I was to destroy it, it's got 21 escudos, 5 blueprint fragments, 85 plates, 7,900 wood, and 600 resin. So that would be a really good port if you needed plates. And it's going to reward, like if there's multiple of you attacking it, it's going to reward those items by percentage based on how much damage you did. If you did 50% of the damage, you're getting 50% of the plates, and etc. So you want to try to do as much damage as you can. Alright, let me see. Okay, so right here. This is a cannon ship. So we're going to turn it and we're going to sell to it now. Just remember when selling by forts, if you get too close, they will shoot at you. They shoot both mortars and cannons, and they will sink you fairly quickly. So this symbol is for a pirate squadron. What these do, and if you hover, it says a pirate squadron is transporting weapons. So if you sell over to that ship, it is going to have it's going to have cannons. If you sink that ship, there's a good odds, and depending on how big of a ship, you can get up to 3 random cannons off of it. So to arm your ships, that's a good way early on. And a lot of times, if they're running pirate cannons, or if it's a pirate ship, because it's that's got cannons, it's also going to drop you the pirate tokens, which is going to help with the currency. So yellow is a neutral player. They're typically a trade guild. Green is going to be the same faction as you, which would be, for me, is Antilla. And then red is the enemy factions, which for me would be Pirates, Kai, or Espanola. The fish, you just hold spacebar as you've seen there. The little white ship emblems on your mini map shows where current ships are located. As you get closer, it'll tell you what kind of ship they are, or you'll be able to use your scope to look at it. If you notice that little symbol at top, that means that is an MPS ship, but that means that a player is controlling it. So that is definitely handy. So unless you're in PvP and they're in PvP, there's no point in attacking that ship, as it's not going to have, or you're not going to do any damage to it. Alright, so you see the line of white ships? They're right where my X is, so that tells me that that is the convoy I'm looking for my pirate cannons. It's always going to have a couple of escorts. So if you're going to take these out, either you want to take out ones that you know you've got the upper hand, or you want to wait until you get some help. Because these ships will... Look, this one has 3 escort ships. So you're going to have that ship plus these, and they're going to do a lot of damage to you. So there he is. So if I was to look, he's a big one. I wouldn't be able to take him by myself without really tactical. So if you look, it is going to give me pirate tokens and transport cannons. By the way, to pull up your magnifying glass, that is E. And you can look at a ship and it tells you how many crew it's got, what cells it's how fast it's going, and what all it's got on its board. Okay, so another thing to is we're going to volley. So, I have a bribery, so I can actually, which is what is right here with my F key. So I'm going to pull up to this ship, and if I hit F, it's going to cost me 48. But now that ship is now mine. That's a good way to get beams. So right clicking does a single fire, as you see. Now if you left click, it fires all of your shots at once. Or if you hit Alt, I don't know if it'll work because I'm in windowed mode. If you hit Alt, it's supposed to switch it to where whenever you hit Alt, it's going to switch it to where it fires all the cannons at once. Or it'll fire them from the nose to the tail. I prefer the nose to the tail. It helps that way if I'm not dead on. I can kind of, as my cannons are firing, I can adjust fire. So that is very handy. So right there, that's being attacked. That's being attacked. So we definitely want to get rid of those. Definitely get rid of these musket men. I should have done that from the get-go. That really hurt me. Alright, and we're going to take the prisoners, because prisoners are always good. And then we're going to wait for it to sink, and then hold spacebar, and get the extra rewards that we didn't get for the ship. Alright, here, so we're going to go up to my personal island. Another thing is, I don't see one currently. I'll have to sail around a little bit. But there's going to be another symbol that you'll see, and it'll just show like a ship with sails. And that is going to be a ferryman. Ferrymans are very handy because whatever, they're just a floating trade ship. They'll be sailing around, you pull up to them, and you can buy resources and sell resources to them. What makes it even better is a lot of times you can trade fish that you've caught for items. So, like I've caught some fish. A lot of times you can trade like 100 fish for a bulkhead. So, for like if you just fish as you're just sailing around, that's a way to get. And then you pass one of those, pull it in beside it, and hit spacebar, and now you can get some free bulkheads, beams, whatever they have for sale. They have cannonballs and stuff like that you can buy for gold, but like it's a cheap way to get some bulkheads, etc. Whenever you're fighting or going to fight, you want to look for these that's got the star symbol beside their name. They're going to have a lot better rewards than like this ship right here that doesn't have a star. This one has cannons on it. So, let's see here. Change that. Nope, I'm out of range. Oh, sailing into the wind. So, we're going to sink this ship and get some free cannons out of it. Because free cannons are always good. And it's by itself. That is ER. There you are. If you hover over it, it tells the guild and all that. And he is one of the enemy factions. But if you notice his name is faded compared to that one, that's because one of us is in peace flags. Or if not both. Which is me. I'm in peace flags because I don't need to PvP while I'm trying to explain stuff. So, because he's at a little further range, I'm going to switch to my round shot. That way I can hit him from further away. If you single fire, a lot of times you do more damage, so that is something to take into account. And if, you do more damage shooting at the back half of the ship than to the front of the ship. You can, that ship I captured, I can hit Z and then tell it to focus or run, etc. And that way and it'll help me fight. And it is right there. So on this side, I still got heated shot, so I'm running. It's going to do a lot more damage, and I'm close enough to use it. If you see those barrels, stay away. They're going to explode or catch on fire and do a lot of damage. And I'm guilty of it, but always keep moving for that reason. that fire, I was not moving, so I was sitting there in that fire cooking. Another thing is consumables, which is down here. And if you hit, they cost different things. You get some of them for free. Some of them just called gold. But whenever you use a consumable, they do a lot more damage. So I activated phosphorus shot. So it's making each one of my shots do a lot more damage than it normally would. Alright, so, and then we get XP for sinking that ship. So then we pull over here to it. Remember, this is a pirate ship with cannons and pirate tokens. So we're going to get a little bit of both. So we hold spacebar. So we got a 28-pound carronade, an 8-pound culver, and 30 pirate tokens. So that's always handy. And we made some cannonballs back. So that's always handy. That's a good way to get cannons for your ships. Or if you're not getting the cannons that you want, you can put them on the market and sell them, and then use the currency, the gold from it, to buy the cannons that you do want. Okay, so a perk that you're always going to want is under here, you decoy flags reduces the aggression distance of dangerous NPSs by a third. So that will keep the blue ships from attacking you from as far out. And then you want, let me find it here. Escort. Enter ports through the lighthouse. So once you've earned enough rep and you are part of a faction, if I try to, like as we seen earlier, if I try to go into a Spanish port, their forts start firing at me, and they will sink me. So that's no good. So if I want to go to a Spanish port and I'm under combat flags, then I need to use the lighthouse. So you scroll in, and right here's one, right here's one, and right here's the third one for Nisagora. So you need to go to those if you want to get to Nisagora and you're under combat flags. If you go to a pirate, like I'm under peace flags, but if I go to a pirate port such as Nabad Stronghold, when I leave there, I will be in decoys. Anytime you go to a pirate fort and you leave, it's going to put you under decoys, which means as soon as you get away from that port, you're going to be able to be attacked. So just remember that. There's little fishing villages such as here. That's a merchant sea, but same thing. You can go here and change from decoy to peace flags and vice versa. So if that happens, you want to try to get to one of those and change your flags, or get to another port and change your flags there. To change your flag, you just click down here and then click on whichever one you want. If you're selling under faction flags, you're not going to use tension. Your guild, you'll be probably part of a guild, and your guild will tell you when to turn on tension raising. Tension raising is, let's see if anybody's doing any tension raising. They are not. So what will happen is you will see a port having a ring flash out from it. And what that means is that somebody is raising tension at that port. Once a guild gets that port to 100%, it goes into a port battle. And in order to get that tension to raise up, you've got to have that tension mode turned on. So this ship here, I get 12 beams. So that was a good little ship to take. Alright. So, your personal islands. Personal islands are handy. There is 2 perks. So once you get into a guild, you want to get that faction rep up to 100, which is right here. You need 33 in a faction to join a guild of that faction, and then you need 100, and once you get to 100, then you can get a second personal island. It's expensive, 300,000 plus 1 skill point. But at here, I can use my workshop. So this is, I'm out of resources here, but that's fine. I've been crafting a lot. Anyways, the nice thing about an island is if I was to, let's say, change it, it says 85 units of labor. Well, right here it says I only got 64. So if I was to click on Bronze Foundry, it says 64 of 85. But those prisoners that we caught earlier, we take them over onto our ship. And then we click Manage and Disembark Captives. And they'll give me 106 manpower. Now, I've got enough, so I can click there, and then click there, and now I have a Bronze Foundry. And crafting at your island, you get a discount. But on your normal ports, you're going to run out of time. But on your island, as long as you're capturing captives off other ships, you can use them to keep your man hours up to keep producing stuff. I would not advise. There's an option for disembark crew. I would not advise it. It does not correlate well. So, like a sailor, 54 sailors were only getting me a half a man hour, whereas each prisoner that I got gave me 1 man hour. Things to build on your island at first. You want to build your lighthouse. That allows you to teleport. So I can hit fast travel, and I can jump from my island. So you want the lighthouse. The dock. The dock allows me to change ships and manage my ships and heal them. So dock is done. And then after that, I would say you want your workshop. That way you can start crafting those resources at a discount. And you pretty much have unlimited man hours as long as you are capturing prisoners. And then if you can build a warehouse, that gives you 500 tons of storage. And then if you have mines on within 700 or 7,000 units, you can build the mission. And then what that's going to allow you to do is you can send ships out every day to collect your. You can send ships out to collect your resources. So I have a mine here, 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 and here. So what I can do, because I have it at this personal island, I can click it. It says that it's going to cost me 50 man crafting time, but I can click continue. Expedition is sent. So now we see these little blue symbols, and they're going to sell out and get those resources for me. So that is very handy. So if you see resources green, that means it has the everything it needs and it's still producing. If it is yellow, that means that it's that hold is full. That means it cannot produce anymore until you empty the warehouse. If it's red, then that means that you're probably missing. You've probably got it up to level 3 or level 4, and that means that you're missing provisions. And to make provisions, I can't do it here. Well, I can, but it would be, I'd go down to provisions, and they cost fruit or supplies, and they cost, I don't have any, but fresh meat. And to make provisions. A lot of people think it's kind of expensive, so they buy the provisions and sell the resources. That is a personal preference, up to you. So whenever you're selling up to a lighthouse, you hit space to go into it. However, if there's like something floating in the water that you want to grab, if you look, it's going to have a Y symbol, the letter Y in brackets beside it. That means instead of hitting spacebar to pick it up, you're going to have to hit Y, because if you hit spacebar, you're going to use the lighthouse. So you've got to hit Y and hold Y to pick up the resource. So just remember, if you're near something like that, it's going to show a different letter for the letter Y for you to pick it up instead. Okay, there's 4 battlemark print shops. One is out here. One's out here, one's out here, and one's out here. And to show you how this works, I'm going to fast travel. So I'm just going to click this Agora. Alright, so no, I'll keep my bar shot. So I pretty much got everything that I need for the most part. I'm going to take more of these. Get my crew back up to health. Or get my crew numbers back up, shall I say. And we're going to exit at the lighthouse and go here. So for this one, you're going to turn. So if you heard that explosion sound, that means there's a fort nearby that just got destroyed. So we're turning around and we're going to go up this little canal. If you see a ship with a spyglass symbol, the closer you get to that ship, the more likely it is to aggro you. So just remember, as it fills up, it can start targeting you. We don't want that. Another thing to remember when you're going to go to print shops or anything like that, you get a bigger reward for being under decoy. You get a 10% extra reward, and for being under faction flags, you get a 20%. So what I'm going to do, I forgot to change it when I was in port, is I'm going to pull up to this fishing village right here, and I'm going to change it to faction flags. That'll make me PvPable, but anytime you're outside the map, that's called the Endless Sea, and you're already in PvP mode anyways. But since I'm already going to be in PvP, it's a short distance to this village or to that lighthouse. I'm going to switch to faction flags. So right here's what I was talking about, 63 fish for some plates. So if I had 63 fish, I could get a free plate out of it. Alright, so we can hit T to pull up our hold, and it says that we are now under faction flags, which is what we wanted. So now this means that other players that are also in faction flags, etc., can fight me. Plus, I have to worry about the MPO ships. So we're going to drop our little X right here. It ain't going to be exact, but it kind of helps you make sure you're not sailing too far north or south. We're going to go up this canal. It takes a minute. Normally, if I'm going out here, I have sails or a blue flare that gives me extra speed. But for this, I'm just going to sell at normal speed. And what these print shops are is they print battle marks. And you're going to need battle marks for a lot of stuff. For your upper ships, they cost battle marks to increase your, to add more perks to your ships. Certain ships cost battle marks, and they are not cheap. Like one of the ships I'm wanting to build right now is 8,000 battle marks. So, highly advised going. So I'm going to go out and show this one. This one here, go to the edge and just sail straight south, and you should see a landmass, and it's going to be near that landmass. This one, if you just sail out that corner and go directly east, you'll come up to a landmass, and then just look for the pick. This one up here, if you go right here to where that shallow water is, there's going to be an island, a set of islands. You can sail from the south around it or the north around it, and it's on the back side of that island set. If you are playing on EU servers, the lower people in the server, the more likely you are to get in and out with your battle marks. Battle marks, you do not lose upon sinking, but if another player boards you, then they can take some of your battle marks. So just remember that if you know they're trying to board you and you can't get away, drop barrels on yourself and try to sink yourself. That's one way to secure your battle marks. So that's green, so that means he's until a faction. He's part of A and B. Alright, so you see this little like power steering wheel with an exclamation. That means you're going out into the endless sea, and it's going to pop up that in 20 seconds I will be in PvP mode. But I'm already in PvP mode, so it does not matter. Sorry guys, I'm selling against wind. Like I said, like because I am selling against the wind, you either want to sell like this. You want to sell like this, and then like what I would normally do is I'd sell a little bit this at this direction, and then I'd rotate and sell a little bit at this direction to get there. And so, but we already got to go this direction. What we're looking for is what we call penis rock. It looks like a big old penis. And it's just going to be a long, tall rock. And that's where we're going to. The mine is right below that rock, or right at that rock. When you're out in the endless sea, these are the ships that you'll see. And typically, a lot of them have escudos and stuff like that. So if you need escudos, that's a good source of money. You want to be going for those. Alright, another thing while I'm selling out here. If you see I'm holding E, that tells me, and you can see what is popping up on my map. But if I tap E, it's popping up ships that I shouldn't see. So that's a good way you can spam that E button and see if you've got a red ship that's in the area. That way you know if you can kind of see and change courses before they get to you. Now it could be just like a Sea Spirit, which is the endless sea ships, but they have escudos. But it can also show other factions, so always keep that in mind. Anytime you're in the north, so it is around between 2 and 3, or it may be 3 and 4, somewhere in that ballpark. Okay, so there's the island mass, and right there's Penis Rock. So that's where we want to go, is right towards Penis Rock. And there's a big well here, and I need whale oil, so I'm going to sink it real quick. Fuck off, Sea Spirit. I don't want to fuck with you. Whales, watch. When they hit you, they do some damage. You always want to aim low with your cannons whenever you're doing stuff like this. But as you see there, he did several hundred damage to me right off the bat. So the reason I need a whale oil is once you get 20,000, you can trade whale oil for a lantern, and it gives you like a 12% extra hold space. Alright, so we killed the whale. Now let's turn around here and grab our whale oil. And because he's kind of big, he'll probably give me between 400 and 700. But 20,000 whale oil allows you to get a lantern that increases hold space. So remember that. Alright, it gave me 595. So again, we're going towards Penis Rock. Whenever we get to Penis Rock, you will see my mine. If you have it level 3 or level 4, you need to feed it provisions. If it's level 1 or 2, you do not need to feed it provisions, but it's not going to produce as many battle marks. Anyways, whenever you're in the north, you consume food. In order to make it to where you eat food, you left click it and then click auto feed. And as you see, my satiety level went up, which is what I wanted. So right there is an enemy player. If I wanted, I could chase him down and attack him. Well, I'm not going to fuck with him. If he's not fucking with me, I'm not going to fuck with him. I try to be respectful. Um, so when you're going places, you can hold control and you can drag, and it'll tell you the distance, and it's going to tell you a rough estimate for how long it's going to take that ship to sail there. If you're doing PvP like port tension raising or port battles, you're going to want lone cannons. Lone cannons is going to make it to where you can reach them, but they may not be able to reach you. So lone cannons when doing PvP, unless you're in arena. If you're in arena, carronades is probably what you want. That's typically what I run. Whenever you're going into these print shops, a good rule of thumb is you want to rotate your ship around to be facing the way you want, so that whenever you grab your battle marks, you can be on the move and you're less likely to get killed while turning around. So I've got my battle marks here, and I got 40 battle marks, and I'm just going to take them into hold. So I got 40 battle marks, 48. I got 8 extra for being under faction flags, which is always handy. If you pull up your map and you click Legend Tools, it'll show you all your little symbols, and you can click to unselect all, and it'll hide it. You can reset to default, and you can toggle. Also, when you click it, this is all the resources that I have on the map. So if I hover over fabric, it tells me what ports that that I have fabric at and how much I have at it. So if you're like, man, I know I've got it, but where's it at? That's how you find out where it's at. Another thing, when you start out, it is going to put your wind direction on the water. I dislike that. So you can go to settings. Another thing is my sails is always transparent. You select it here, always transparent. And that way I can always see through my sails, which is handy. But the other thing is, escape, settings, wind direction. On the sea or on the mini-map. I prefer it on the mini-map. It's a lot easier for me to see. And I don't have to scroll out of it if I don't want to. But typically you'll get in a habit of as soon as you spawn, you just automatically scroll out. It's just a simple little thing. So both of those aggroed me, but we're not really going to fight them. If you've got ships chasing you, especially NPSs like this, if you drop barrels in the water, they will swerve to dodge the barrels. And then these green ones, they make them go slower so if they get hit by it. See how that ship turned away? And you can use that to your advantage to get away from them. Once you get a distance, they will de-aggro you. Let's see here. Dailies. Once you're in a guild, to get your a point for your guild every day to help in your rankings, you need to do 5 dailies. So, play 2 times at rank 5 or 6. Place first 5 times. Earn gold. Win so many battles, etc. And if you didn't get that particular done that day, because the earned gold is normally, I think it starts out at 80,000. So I didn't get it yesterday. So today I'm down to 1,800. So that would be one of the 5 dailies that I need to do. So that they are at least a revolving door to help get your daily point. Whenever you have skill points, you control, click here, and then you pick them. uh, different. Some of them you will select, you'll use it for a little while, and then after that you'll pay to 10,000 gold or whatever to to return it, so you can get a different item. Like you may be right now, you may be trying to collect beams, so you've got on the part that gives you the 33% more beams. But let's say you're not capturing ships. Well, then you can pay 10,000 gold, get that point back, and then use that point. For instance, like I could click this, return it, and then a handy one that I find is, hang on before I wreck, is under exploration, the illegal mooring. Cut mooring fees in half. So in this rate ship that I'm in, every time I go into an enemy port, I have to pay 1,000 gold. So if I get that mooring fee, that puts it down to 500. Well, if I'm bouncing around the map a lot, that's going to help out a ton. Another trick. If you have mooring fees, one way that you can get around mooring fees, if you'll give me just a second here, let me get in this lighthouse, I'll show you, is, right here's one, I've already got some pulled up, is these delivery missions. This has to deliver some grain to LT grade. I could accept that quest, and as long as I had that, whenever you accept the quest, it automatically puts the resources on your ship. As long as I don't go to LT grade, that quest is active, and as long as that quest is active, I do not pay mooring fees anywhere. So a good trick you can do is, see there, 1,080 mooring. So a trick that you can do is pick up this quest and just not turn it in. And just, you can sell all over the map, dock wherever you want, and you don't have to pay any extra, don't have to pay mooring fees. It's going to take up some inventory space. So, if you notice, whenever I click on the ship, it's not moving my stuff over. For you, it probably will, and to change that, you go into settings, and then you want to do untick, unload auto warehouse. And I have it set to automatically pay my special crew. That's how you keep it from unloading your ship every time. Because sometimes you'll put your stuff on there, and then you'll leave it, and you'll be like, oh, I forgot this, and come right back into port, and you'll be like, well, where'd my stuff go? Why is it not in my ship? That's why. It was in there. It just automatically unloaded it again. Let's see here. What else is there I can explain? Oh, so in the center circle, this is a PvP zone. If you're in EU1, it is mainly controlled by the pirates. If you want to be in here, you want to either be in a group, or you want to be in a fast ship that you can outrun everything it wants to fight you. If you see these chests right here, like if you were right here and you seen this chest, and it's right next to the circle, I advise getting it. That can give you chest keys. It can give you 30 to 40 chests of gold. Stuff like that. Now, if it's right here, I probably wouldn't go for it. Because the whole time you're in PvP, but right here on the edge, you could be in peace flags, jump in, you're in PvP, grab it, and jump right back out into peace flags before anybody can attack you. Because what pirates like to do is they'll hang out nearby, and they just watch for that chest symbol to disappear. And as soon as that symbol disappears, they start running and looking for you. It's a tactic that they use to sink players unsuspecting. Red circles, or these red blobs, that is where combat has been happening. A green dot is people that's in your guild and where they're currently at on the map once you have the ranking in your guild. If it's blue, that blue dots is either NPSs in your crew or that you've recruited, or it's players in your squad. To make a squad, you would just hold Control, click on your guild, click on Gene, and I could click create a squadron, and then I can invite people. Or you can click on somebody down here in chat to do the exact same thing. So if you and your friend join or start the game and you don't know what you're doing, and you can't find each other to link up, if one of you type in chat, then you can control click their name, invite them to a group, and then their dot will pop up on the map. Now you know where your friend is. So very handy for that. Let me see here. If y'all have any questions, feel free to ask. As of right now, I can't think of anything else. So your auction. Let's say you've got a bunch of, like you're needing to buy some resources. Like I said, a lot of people buy provisions right here, $195. And this will tell you, at this port, this is what and all they're selling. If you scroll down, Nordberg is selling all this stuff. Curse City's selling all this stuff. It won't show you exactly every port, but it'll show you some nearby ones. There's another thing that you can do, and I do not remember how to see it. So you can click ships, and that'll tell you where ships are and how much they're selling for. You can do that with crafter resources, other resources. And I can't remember how. I don't use it much, but there is an option to where you can pay 500 gold and it tells you what every port has of a certain resource. But I do not remember how to do that. I'm sorry. Up here it also tells you how much the tax for that port is. To create an order, let's say I want to buy some plates. I click plates, click how many I want, and then I click buy. Once you get up there in gold, you lose a percentage of gold whenever you get sunk. So once you start getting into the millions, what people will do is like this. They list chests for sale. A chest, if you claim the chest at a port, it's 490 gold. I don't have any here to show you. But if you go to fishing villages, merchants at sea, a lot of times you can open your gold chest there, and they give you the 500 gold. So you lose 10 gold every time you open them in port. But to save your gold so you don't lose it, you can either build gold chest or have gold chests laying around, or like I said, import 490 gold. This guy lists them for 333. Why would I buy that, or why would you buy that? Because you're actually going to lose money. So what he's done is he's just put 130 of those up for sale, and it's just a way. He's going to pay the 8% tax, but he's able to tie his money up in the auction so that it's not in his bank account that he can lose when he sinks. So definitely handy to remember that part. Chest keys. When you go to the store, you will find chest keys in these red boxes. You will find them out in the endless sea. When you accumulate 10 of them, you can trade 10 of them for a large chest. And then, I don't want to do that. All right, here it is. There's a 3.6% chance to get a premium ship, 0.13 to get a unique, hull paint, coins, voodoo skulls, lanterns, battle marks, voodoos, flags, heavy and Saxon, sail designs, captain seal, construction license, docks, uh, gold, escudos, swivel guns. Definitely handy. Um, that chest, I don't think you can, but like for instance, this ship right here, 7,200 battle marks. But I have a chance when I get 10 of those keys, and I could just win this ship. I could win a lot of these different chests. Some chests you have to pay real money to open, some you do not. The most coveted ship in the game, a lot for a guild, is the Huracan. This ship has a special ability that allows your teammates to spawn on you. So if you're in a port battle, or if you're in a tension raising, and your friend sinks, right before they sink, he can turn on his perk, and it'll allow your friend to spawn right back beside you, which is really handy. So definitely, like, that is a handy ship. The octopuses, they can go invisible. It's pretty much all they want. So what you'll see is they'll go invisible, sail up to you, shoot you. You go to shoot them, and they'll go right back invisible. And you're like, well, where? And it's fighting a ghost. It's a really big pain in the hind end. So while we're at it, let's talk about your different ships. All right, so your fast ships are your ships that that is going to move across the water fairly quick. Everybody should have a Locriel. That is one of the fastest ships in the game. The only thing that can outrun it really is it's called the Flying Cloud, if I could find it. Right here. This is the only ship that can really outrun that thing. And it moves quick. Okay, so so these are just getting from point A to point B with some resources. Alright, then you have your combat ships. Your combat ships, these are not good at any particular thing, but they're not bad at any particular thing. You're just the middle of the road ship. They're good at fighting. They're good at carrying stuff. They got decent movement speed, but they're not great at anything. Your transports, that's how you're going to get your resources from one place to another. That's how you're going to get a lot of stuff from this island to this island. Your heavies is what you're going to use when you're fighting, you're doing guild stuff, and your dailies. Everybody has a San Martin. You want a San Martin. It's easy to build, and you're going to use that in your daily arenas. It's a good overall ship. They take a lot of damage, and they deal a lot of damage. And then you have your siege. These are your mortar ships. They don't have a whole lot of health, so you've got to keep them out of the combat zone as much as you can. But they can fire mortars that do a lot of damage to forts. And if you put your heavy mortars on it, you can't fire while moving. But if you're stopped in firing and you get a direct hit on a ship, it puts a hole in the breach of their ship. And then they will start sinking unless they stop to fix it. Your Imperial ships. The Imperial ships, you have to do a little bit to get each one. This one, you pretty much got to buy. But I'm currently working on the Devourer, which takes 1 Imperial blueprint and 150 escudos. So to get a blueprint, you have to have 100 fragments. And then you go to your workshop, and it's right here. So it takes 100 fragments, 100,000 gold, and 200 crafting time. And that's how you get your Imperial blueprint. But what makes these good is Imperial ships will not aggro on you. So that is going to get a lot of those pesky NPSs off your hind end. If you're playing free to play and you're doing sieges, Lyra Quinn and Kabuxton are going to be your two of your most used. If you can get it out of a chest, a lot of people like the Shin and the Sparrow. Those are two other good ships that people use. Or if you're buying them. So, and like for instance, if you are trying to do the Shin but you have a ton of gold, you could get like this in 8,000 battle marks. A way around it is if you got a bunch of gold, you could just go into the trading workshop and look for somebody selling battle marks. Or buying battle marks, shall I say. Or, yeah, they're selling them, you're buying them. My bad. And you can buy them there. That's a way to get around that. But it is very expensive. Alrighty, here. Let's see here. Upgrades. So, there's different upgrades. Typically, my rule of thumb is I go elite sales on most things, unless it is my transport, and then I go with the tarpon, because they're your drag ships. You're just trying to get from point A to point B, so you want that 10% extra speed, but you lose a little bit of maneuverability. But you're not turn fighting, so you're just trying to outrun everything. So you want the tarpon cells. Alright, and then depending on the scenario, what you're doing. So sailors keeps your well oil, your fresh meat, your fish, that keeps it from spoiling. Normally, I would not have sailors on a battleship, but I've been using my battleship or on my heavy ship to kill whales. So that's the reason I have sailors. Normally, you're going to run sailors on your transport ships. Normally, you want that slot for combat. If I want to switch it out, I just click store, and then I can scroll through and buy or get whichever one I want. So, like if I was going to be PvPing or like using this in arena battles, incendiary mixture and ammunition cradles, I definitely have. Extra bunks depends. That is more of a whether or not I'm going to try to board players. But you definitely, in arena, you want copper plating. That's going to keep them from their fire shots hitting the water and catching you on fire as easy. So I would probably run ammunition, incendiary, teak frames, and copper plating in arena. The Bologna does not turn very well as it is. So if you just want to stand there, you could go for structural expansion. And then that would allow you to add something else extra, which can be very handy. But for now, I'm running sellers because I'm getting well up. What I was talking about with the lantern is you hit, where's the store? There it is. Store. And then designs. And it's this one right here. It gives you 12% additional hold for 20,000 well oil, which is really good. Arena. So in arena, mass battles what most everybody plays. Good luck trying to get people to play hunt. I've only got it to work once. Once you've earned some arena points, you click store, and this is how you buy the stuff. Real good for your iron patches and your bronze patches. Definitely handy for those. Section shots, you can get some 2 days of Captain Seal, which gives you a little bit extra rewards for anything that you do. When you get to rating 2,500, you unlock the second category, gives you even better stuff. And then rating 8,000, you can get pirate tokens, chest keys, 6 days of Captain Seal, and your lanterns. This season I started late. And the season ends at the end of the week, so I'm just staying right here. I'm not trying to bust my hind end to get over here. Yes, some of these things like the heavy shot would be nice. The blueprint fragments, the Scudos, they would be heavy. No, not gonna lie. But I would have to grind my butt off for the rest of the week just playing arena to unlock those. I'm not myself. I'm not too worried about it. If you have any other questions, let me know. Thank you for watching the video, and I'll see y'all guys later.